Welcome to High Global New Military Updates. This is the place to update military developments, global strategy, and the power of modern weapons. Let us analyze and reflect together. Each question from the audience is not just curiosity, but a doorway to the truth hidden behind the military tactics that changed history. True strength will always be tested by time and by the battlefield. While China constantly criticizes the United States on international diplomatic forums, on the battlefield of military technology, a completely opposite story is unfolding. In places where every word denies Washington's strength, inside Beijing's secret factories, America's top secret designs are being copied in meticulous detail. At all costs, China is trying to seize technologies they have never created but desperately crave to own. It is not difficult to recognize. Beijing's new combat helicopters carry the unmistakable DNA of U.S. weapons. From the J-35, a copy of the F-35, to the Z-20, a disguised Black Hawk, and most recently, a design that shocked the military world. A helicopter equipped with a coaxial twin rotor system, almost copied directly from America's S-97 Raider X. Why is China so obsessed with the Raider X? And what has made the coaxial twin rotor a technological symbol that both Russia and the United States fiercely compete for? In today's program, we will uncover the secrets behind the battle for dominance in the skies, where the Raider X, the V-280 Valor, and China's unlimited ambitions are heating up the global arms race. While China constantly criticizes and confronts the United States on the diplomatic front, on the battlefield of military technology, Beijing shows deep admiration for American weapons. They know very well that U.S. weapons and equipment stand at the top of the world. And precisely because of that, Beijing has quietly carried out a series of secret operations to steal advanced technologies, replicating Washington's most cutting-edge designs. Just a glance at the J-35 fighter tells the story clearly. It is nothing more than a photocopy of America's legendary F-35. And it doesn't stop there. Many Chinese helicopters are also accused of copying the designs of the Black Hawk series. But the story didn't end there. Recently, an image spread online at lightning speed, showing that China is developing a new and very special helicopter. On top of the aircraft sits a coaxial twin rotor system, two blades spinning in opposite directions, a hallmark technology of the American S-97 Raider X, developed by Sikorsky. Not only that, the tail of this combat helicopter also carries an additional pusher propeller, making the overall aircraft almost a complete replica of the Raider X. What makes it even more surprising is that at the end of 2022, the U.S. Army officially announced that the V-280 Valor by Bell had defeated the Raider X to become the next generation flight platform. In other words, China seems to be developing a copy of a design that lost the competition, yet is still far ahead of their current technology. It is important to remember, coaxial rotor technology was not invented by the United States. The first pioneer in this field was the Soviet Union, and later Russia. Helicopters like the Ka-28 and Ka-52 from Kamov all use the coaxial rotor system, which both improves flight performance and reduces the space required for operation. China's ambition with this technology is not new. Back in the early 1990s, a top-secret operation was launched. A senior officer was sent to Laos to try to gain access to and steal a Soviet Ka-series helicopter. Behind this covert mission was none other than Harbin Aircraft Industry Group, China's leading helicopter manufacturer, backed strongly by the Chinese Navy. From that moment until today, the journey of imitation, copying, and modifying technologies from Russia and the U.S. has never truly stopped. Yet, despite relentless efforts in technology theft, China has only been able to recreate designs that already existed in the US. And among these, one target stands out above the rest: the Raider X helicopter, a masterpiece of American military technology. But why is China so fascinated, so obsessed with replicating this aircraft? The answer lies in its coaxial twin-rotor system, a breakthrough engineering solution that gives the helicopter superior performance, higher speed, and unmatched maneuverability. To understand this, we first need to revisit the basic design of most helicopters in the world today. Every time a helicopter passes by in the sky, with its long tail stretched out behind, many wonder, why does it need that long tail? And why is there a small rotor spinning continuously at the very end? In reality, the main rotor above the fuselage provides lift, pulling the helicopter into the sky. But as the rotor spins, it also generates torque, forcing the entire body of the aircraft to spin in the opposite direction. Without a solution, the helicopter would lose control instantly. That is why engineers designed a small tail rotor, not to provide thrust, but to counteract torque, keeping the fuselage stable. Because this tail rotor must create counter torque, the tail of the helicopter is usually extended, making the leverage more effective. This is why most traditional helicopters have a round fuselage, a large main rotor on top, a long tail stretched behind, and a small rotor spinning continuously. But with coaxial twin-rotor technology, like the Raider X uses, everything changes. Two main rotors spin in opposite directions on the same vertical axis, completely eliminating torque. The result? No need for a long tail, greater agility, higher speed, and reduced noise. This is exactly the reason why China is so eager to possess this technology, even if it means copying or espionage. Once we understand why helicopters traditionally require a tail rotor to balance torque, another question arises. Where does the forward thrust of a helicopter come from, since it does not use jet engines like a fighter? How does a helicopter actually surge forward? The answer again lies in the main rotor. When the rotor tilts forward at a certain angle, it not only generates vertical lift, but also horizontal thrust, pushing the helicopter ahead. But here, a natural limit appears. The tilt angle of the rotor is restricted by mechanical design, so the forward thrust can never be too strong. This is why helicopters are always slower than fixed-wing aircraft. Take the UH-60 Black Hawk, an icon of U.S. Army aviation. Even as one of the most advanced military helicopters, its maximum speed is only around 295 kilometers per hour, and that is already the extreme limit for traditional rotorcraft. Faced with the speed limits of conventional helicopters, military designers began searching for breakthroughs. Instead of relying on a small tail rotor to balance torque, they asked, why not place two large rotors on the same axis, spinning in opposite directions? That way, the torque from each rotor would cancel out completely. The result? No need for a tail rotor at all. This bold idea became reality in the Russian Kamov Ka-52. With two counter-rotating rotors on a single shaft, the Ka-52 does not require a long tail or a tail rotor. The design is more compact, more agile, and has the potential for greater speed. But technology is never perfect. The Ka-52's coaxial rotor system uses flexible hinges, meaning the blades are not fully rigid, but allowed slight vertical and horizontal movement during rotation. This gives the Ka-52 good maneuverability, but also creates challenges during complex flight maneuvers. When the helicopter executes sharp turns, sudden directional changes, or rolls, the uncontrolled motion of the flexible rotors can affect stability and safety. Here lies the difference in approach. Russia, the United States, and even China each have their own solutions to the problems of speed, agility, and torque. But one thing is certain, the coaxial twin rotor design is becoming the global trend. And that is why America's Raider X has become the model China is desperately trying to copy. Even though it is praised as one of the most advanced attack helicopters of Russia, the Ka-52 still carries within it a deadly weakness: rotor blade collision. The very structure that defines it, two counter-rotating rotors on the same axis, was thought to be an ultimate advantage, but in reality, it hides a lethal risk. Looking back at June 17, 1998, a Ka-50, the predecessor of the Ka-52, was caught in powerful, turbulent airflow. The two rotors struck each other mid-air. The helicopter immediately lost control, plunged, and was completely destroyed. This was not an isolated accident. During the war in Ukraine, many Ka-52s have continued to suffer the same fate, especially when flying low, executing combat maneuvers in chaotic air conditions. For Kamov Design Bureau, the developer of the Ka-52, the problem of rotor collision remains a challenge without a perfect solution. To reduce the risk, engineers had to extend the distance between the two rotor levels, but this increased the total height of the helicopter to over 5.2 meters. The result: although the Ka-52 eliminates the need for a tail rotor, it loses the advantage of compactness. The overall size and space it occupies are no longer reduced as expected. Beyond blade collision, the Ka-52 also faces severe vibration and uneven resonance during heavy loads or aggressive combat maneuvers. This is the direct consequence of using flexible rotor blades, good for absorbing shocks, but unstable during high-speed maneuvers. The Americans, of course, did not stand aside in this race for rotor technology. Their answer was the Raider, and its advanced version, the Raider X, a completely different approach. Instead of using flexible blades like Russia, the US developed a rigid coaxial rotor system, stable, precise, and easier to control during high-speed maneuvers. But torque elimination was not America's only solution. There is another legendary design, the CH-47 Chinook heavy transport helicopter. Rather than coaxial rotors, the Chinook mounts two massive rotors at the front and rear of the fuselage, spinning in opposite directions. These rotors cancel torque, while also providing both lift and forward thrust. The result is extraordinary efficiency. The key lies in precision engineering, the exact calculation of rotor spacing, rotation speed, and shaft length. This level of technical mastery is something China has yet to replicate. Each nation has its own path. Russia prioritizes close-range agility and speed. The US pursues stability, flexibility, and unmatched velocity. And China still struggles between imitation and adaptation. But one truth stands clear: the core technology remains far out of their reach, compared with Russian Ka-52s and Ka-27s, which constantly risk blade collisions. The Raider X, developed by Sikorsky and Boeing, demonstrates a leap far beyond. The key to Raider X's success is the combination of rigid coaxial rotors on top and a pusher propeller at the tail. This propeller is not for balancing torque like a traditional tail rotor. Its sole purpose is to generate forward thrust. Thanks to this design, the main coaxial rotors no longer need to tilt to create forward motion, as in conventional helicopters. The result? A revolutionary improvement in flight performance. In fact, the US had pursued this idea decades earlier. Back in 1967, Lockheed Martin developed the AH-56 Cheyenne, a bold and innovative design. The Cheyenne used a traditional main rotor and a tail rotor for stability, but it also added a second pusher propeller at the rear to provide forward thrust. This meant the Cheyenne's tail carried two separate rotors, one for stability and one for speed. The idea was ahead of its time, but the project was plagued with problems. During test flights, the helicopter suffered from rotor instability at high speeds. Eventually, the AH-56 program was terminated, yet the vision did not die. Its daring concept became the foundation for the Raider X. With modern materials and advanced digital flight control systems, every weakness of the Cheyenne was transformed into strength. Rigid coaxial rotors, a single pusher propeller, compact design, optimized aerodynamics. The Raider X could now achieve a maximum speed of 460 kilometers per hour, 50 to 80% faster than traditional helicopters. A true breakthrough, a challenge to every rival, from Russia and from China. The Sikorsky-Boeing alliance once again proved, when technology and strategy unite, the result is not just speed, but a comprehensive advantage on the battlefield of the future. Sikorsky, the legendary name behind the Black Hawk, joined forces with Boeing to create one of the most revolutionary helicopters of the 21st century, the Raider X. This giant duo supplies nearly 90% of the helicopters currently in service with the U.S. Army, and the Raider X is their ace in the new generation. Equipped with two cutting-edge Honeywell HTS 7500 engines, the Raider X boasts 42% more power than the older models. This enables the aircraft to maintain speed, stability, and agility at extreme levels. Even more impressive, the Raider X can continue operating stably with just a single engine, a rare capability in combat helicopters. In the harshest conditions of battle, this is a matter of survival, but the real breakthrough lies in the pusher propeller mounted at the tail. Because of it, the coaxial rotors above no longer need to tilt to create thrust. When acceleration or deceleration is needed, the aircraft simply adjusts the power of the pusher propeller. This gives the Raider X explosive mobility, instant acceleration, sudden deceleration, sharp dives, and seamless maneuvering. With this design, the Raider X brings together three unmatched advantages over traditional helicopters. First, speed. It can reach up to 460 kilometers per hour, 50 to 80% faster than conventional designs. Second, range. Its operational distance extends far beyond most helicopters of today. Third, agility. Explosive acceleration, sudden deceleration, and fighter jet-like maneuverability in the sky. These three qualities combined make the Raider X a game changer. If deployed in combat, it could serve multiple roles: attack, reconnaissance, support, or even sudden strike missions, capable of defeating opponents in mere moments. But Raider X's greatest challenger does not come from Russia, nor from China. It comes from within the United States itself. The V-280 Valor, developed by Bell, an advanced tilt-rotor aircraft, stands as America's own rival to the Raider X. This new design inherits from the legendary V-22 Osprey. With massive tilting engines at the wingtips, the V-280 can take off and land vertically like a helicopter, yet cruise at high speed like a jet. Two American aircraft, two design philosophies. Only one will dominate the skies of the 21st century. But what was the outcome? The Raider X had already proven one truth. When technology speaks, the line between helicopter and jet fighter becomes thinner and thinner. Traditionally, people thought of helicopters as machines that could take off and land vertically, but always had to sacrifice speed and range. The arrival of the V-280 Valor completely shattered that limitation. This tilt-rotor aircraft, developed by Bell, delivers performance unseen in the history of military aviation. At the tip of each wing, a powerful tilting engine with 4 blades is mounted. When taking off, the rotors tilt upward, acting like a helicopter, generating vertical lift. But once in cruise mode, the engines rotate 90 degrees forward, transforming the aircraft into a fixed-wing jet. This is the genius of tilt-rotor design. Two worlds combined in one machine: a helicopter's vertical flexibility and a jet's incredible speed. The result, an aircraft that rewrites the rules of the battlefield. The V-280 Valor can reach a top speed of 600 kilometers per hour. Even at cruising speed, it maintains a stable 520 kilometers per hour, far beyond the capability of any helicopter in the world today. And it's not just about speed. The Valor's range stretches to 3,900 kilometers, with an estimated combat radius of over 1,400 kilometers. These numbers are so powerful that even the Raider X has to bow its head. The aircraft itself is 15.4 meters long, with a wingspan of 24.9 meters. Its empty weight is 8 tons, with a maximum takeoff weight of 14 tons, enough to carry 14 fully equipped soldiers and a crew of 4. With performance that seems almost unmatched, it is no surprise that the V-280 Valor defeated the Raider X in the race to become the U.S. Army's next-generation assault aircraft, because the Valor is more than just a machine. It is a perfect combination of tactical flexibility and strategic power projection. A weapon system designed not only to fight battles, but to shape the future of warfare itself. Meanwhile, the Raider X, with its advanced coaxial rotors and pusher propeller, still could not match the Valor's speed, range, or payload capacity. And yet, every unique feature of the Raider X quickly caught the eye of China's military observers. Inside the PLA, there is a famous saying, "Cross the river by feeling the stones." It means just follow America's design and you will never go wrong. And indeed, leaked documents and satellite images confirm what many already suspected. China is developing a helicopter that almost mirrors the USS 97 Raider. Twin coaxial rotors, a rear pusher propeller, even the tail layout, all are near replicas of the American design. Once again, the U.S. leads, and China follows through imitation. It's not hard to see. When it comes to modern military helicopters, China is always one step behind the United States, and the easiest path they choose is imitation. Recently, their new coaxial rotor helicopter was officially revealed. Its configuration is strikingly similar to the famous U.S. Raider X. From the twin counter-rotating rotors on top, to the rear pusher propeller, to the tail with horizontal stabilizers, all bear the fingerprints of copying. The most visible difference lies in the tail fins. Most U.S. helicopters mount them downward, but Chinese designs place them upward. Yet, the overall layout leaves little room for denial. It is borrowed directly from America. And this is nothing new. Back in the 1980s, during the honeymoon period between Washington and Beijing, China imported several Black Hawk helicopters from the U.S., civilian versions known as the S-70C. Despite already having large transport helicopters from Russia, Chinese officers quickly realized, through real operations, especially in the harsh Tibetan plateau, that American helicopters were superior in load, stability, and high-altitude performance. No doubt about it. After more than 15 years of study, China unveiled the Z-20, a near-carbon copy of the American Black Hawk. From aerodynamic structure to rotor system to the overall silhouette, international observers could only shake their heads. The Chinese Black Hawk. And now, with the appearance of their new coaxial rotor helicopter, Beijing makes it clear. The arms race in the Asia-Pacific is heating up. No one declares it openly, but in military circles, everyone understands. A new Cold War is quietly unfolding between the United States and China. On one side, the Raider X and the V-280 Valor, symbols of America's next-generation rotorcraft. Speed, range, agility, pushed to the extreme. On the other side, Chinese imitations, shapes that may look similar, but fall far short in stability, reliability, and real combat effectiveness. Because war is not only about blueprints, it is about an entire military ecosystem, industry, technology, logistics, and above all, battlefield experience. What we see in leaked photos is only the tip of the iceberg. The quiet confrontation between these two powers has only just begun, and the skies above the Asia-Pacific will be the stage where the outcome is written. Because in this race, it is not just about aerodynamics. It is a contest of entire systems, military industries, technological self-reliance, logistical networks, and the unforgiving lessons of real combat. Every copied shape, every borrowed design may look impressive in pictures, but when tested in fire and steel, the truth will emerge. Will China's replicas ever match America's mastery? Or will they remain shadows of another nation's innovation? One thing is certain. The coming decades will decide who truly owns the skies. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Share your thoughts in the comments below, because every voice, every question is part of uncovering the truth behind the weapons and strategies shaping our world. I'm Hai. See you in the next video. Thank you, and goodbye.